Hello, today we're going to be fighting Big Bird, but first let's go over the decks. I have Lowell with a Puppet Blockade, Frontal Assault, Extract Field to where the Prescript points, Fleet Edge, Repressed Flesh with the Prescript, Overcharge, and Emotional Turbulence. For passives, I have Restfulness, Reaction Force, Jolting Puncture, Wedge, and Electric Shock. Next I have Callow with 2 Frontal Assault, a Reload, 2 Bayonet Combat, a Summary Judgment, an Overcharge, and 2 Focus Fire. For passives, I have Stacking a Deck, Bottom Deal, Battle Ready, and Wedge. If you're not going to be running Stacking Deck and Bottom Deal because they're General Reception passives, I'd make his deck and passives the same as Lowell's, except replace the Repressed Flesh with the Summary Judgment. Last, we have Nemo, 2 Leap, 2 Energy Shield, 2 Energy Conversion, 2 Overcharge, 1 Energy Beam, with the same passives as Lowell. Alright, let's get into it. Alrighty. So, at the start of the first scene, Big Bird's going to be casting Dazzle on a random target, which will enchant them next scene, and I'll go more into detail with that in the next scene when it comes into effect. It will also have 8 15-15 block dice, and so you might want to be careful about who they're targeting and making sure that they don't have any hanging defensive dice, or else you might just get staggered randomly. And then these eyeball chicks will have a wide variety of pages that they can use. First one, Nip, 3-6, 3-5, 3-5, but gets 3 power against targets with slower speed. So if it's targeting something with slower speed, in this case it's not, then you'll want to redirect it, but in this case it's fine. Next, Intense Stare, 3-7 evade, and then a 4-9 that on hit forces the target to attack this character next scene unless they're enchanted, which in this case my Callow will be. Ocular Stab, 6-10 pierce that on hit inflicts 4 bind, and then a 2-7. This one is a little less threatening, but getting inflicted with bind and also being forced to target the character is not ideal unless they're targeting enchanted, in which case it doesn't matter. And another Nip. So the reason why I brought the overcharges is so that if the target who's getting targeted with Dazzle has an overcharge in hand, they can use it on this scene and somewhat circumvent the effect that it has. In this case I don't have it, but if you do, I highly recommend using it. Otherwise, since the eyeball chicks are Pierce Stagger weak, I'm going to try and stagger one of them on the first scene with Myriad Pierce dice, and since they're Blunt Injured, I'm going to try and avoid using blunt attacks. Alright, and now we can see the enchanted debuff going into effect. The target will be casting 2 Dazzled, which is just a 1-to-1 blunt that targets Big Bird and cannot be redirected. And Big Bird will be casting Salvation, which is a 30-30 slash counter that on hit, if the target's enchanted, will instantly kill them. Obviously we don't want this to happen, and so our other librarians will be given a Birdcage, which is a 2-2 blunt that on hit breaks the speed die of the target and immobilizes them next scene. So we're going to be using both of these right now to break the speed dice so that they don't die. And then we're going to try and kill this bird, the one that's about to get staggered. Alright, didn't quite get there, but it's fine. Now, Big Bird will be casting Salvation again on the same target, but since we used the Birdcage, they're immobilized, so they won't be able to act, so we don't need to worry about that. And here we go, last page. I forgot to mention it last scene, but Clumsy Jog, 2 to 8, evade die and then a 2 to 7 evade die. Doesn't really matter, you can just ignore this page. I'm gonna kill this eyeball chick, and then I'm gonna start getting some damage in on this one. Alright, and now we're just back to the normal thing with Dazzle. And here I do have the overcharge, so I'll be able to do that cheese, which is good. And from here on out, until you kill both of the eyeball chicks, it's just more of the same. Alright, I'm just going to kill this eyeball chick and make sure I have full light, and then I'll be able to show you the main mechanic. Alright, there we go. And so, after that, our librarians will be given a lullaby, and if it's used against Big Bird, it'll fall asleep next scene and become staggered. And so we can just use that against Salvation, and it'll work the way we want it to. There you go. And now that it's staggered, we can go and pump in as much damage as we can. And then, well, we probably won't be able to do 300 damage in a single scene, so we'll need to do the lullaby trick again. And then we'll probably be able to kill it on the second cycle, and so that'll be good. Alright, and so again, just Dazzle and then some patrols. So I'll just use the lullaby. And I guess I could have killed it last scene if I used overcharge here instead of toilet prescript points, but yeah, whatever. Right. And there you go. This fight is fairly confusing even if you read all of the passives with like the enchanted stuff, but once you see how it's done, it's pretty simple. After defeating Big Bird, you'll get access to these abnormality pages. Watchful Eyes is interesting. It immediately fills the selected librarians' light, and every scene after that, it'll steal the light regen from a different librarian and give it to the selected librarian. I only have anecdotal evidence for this, but I swear that sometimes it just drains one of your librarians' light to 0, and I'm not crazy. Other than that potential bug, this is a great page if you have one character that's significantly stronger than your other librarians. Eternally Lit Lamp is very niche, making the selected librarian able to redirect pages to them regardless of speed. This Abnormality page was basically tailor-made for a certain reception and is greatly useful in that situation, but otherwise it's mostly just a convenience page. Salvation is another somewhat niche page. Dice the selected librarian plays against targets with higher speed gain 1 power, and additionally, when the target is at 25% HP or lower, upon winning a clash, destroy the rest of their dice. This page is great in boss receptions where 25% HP is like over 100, and the extra dice power is nice as well. This synergizes fairly well with Eternally Lit Lamp, as they both work best when the selected librarian is slower than the enemy. In the next video, we'll be taking on the Red Mist herself. I'll see you soon, and as always, thank you for watching.